Yeah, hello students. Good morning, all of you. Once again, a warm welcome to the mobile computing online class. Yeah, with the last video, we successfully completed unit number 2. So up to now, we covered 2 units in the mobile computing subject. So the unit number 1 is the introduction to the mobile computing, and unit number 2 is the Mac medium access controller that we covered in the previous videos. So unit number 1 consisting of introduction to the mobile computing and introduction to the mobile communication and different architectures like GSM architecture, GPRS architecture, and there in the mobile communications we discussed about guided transmission media, unguided transmission media. So there in guided transmission media we discussed about different cables like twisted pair cable, coaxial cable, and fiber optical cables. In the unguided transmission media we discussed about different wireless communication channels and the main important backbone of these mobile computing subject, GSM architecture, we covered there in the unit number 1, and protocol architecture of GSM and different services provided by the GSM and GPRS architecture and protocol architecture of GPRS, and what are the different applications of mobile computing and what are the drawbacks and limitations of mobile computing, and what is the basic architecture of mobile computing. That's what we covered there in the unit number 1, and also we covered different handheld devices and handover management topics that we covered in the unit number 1. So unit 1 mostly covered the introduction part of mobile computing and mobile communication and wireless communication technologies, and as well as architectures like GSM and GPRS and handheld devices and handover management functions. Now there in the unit number 2, we covered the topics that is a medium access control. There in the medium access control we discussed about different medium access like FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, and SDMA. So there in the TDMA we discussed about Aloha and CSMA CD and CSMA CA, carrier sense multiple access with collision detection and collision avoidance, and what is the need for specialized MAC, that is what are the problems occurred there in the what is the need for specialized MAC problems occurred, a hidden terminal problem, exposed terminal problem, near and far terminal problems, how we have to avoid hidden terminal problem, exposed terminal problem, and near and far terminal problems by using RTS and CTS frames. uh, and also we covered W wireless LANs, that is IEEE 802.11 and its architecture and protocol architecture, we covered there in the unit number 2. Now we are successfully entering into the unit number 3. So unit number 3 is the network layer. So here in the unit number 3, the unit number 3, mobile network layer. So after successful completion of unit number 2, that is medium access controller, there we discussed about different mediums like FDMA, TDMA, CDMA, and SDMA mediums, and how the signals are transmitting from one location to the another location, how the signals are combined by using CDMA, how the code we applied there. That what we covered there in the unit number 2. So here in the unit number 3, that is mobile network layer. In generally, you covered the network layer there in the networks concept. Their network layer is the third layer in the reference model, that is after the physical layer and data link layer, and the third one is the network layer. So data link layer is subdivided into the two parts, that is LLC logical link control and as well as a MAC medium access control. So that we covered in the unit number 2, LLC and the MAC. So now we are entering into the network layer. So here the network layer plays the major role in the wireless communication medium, because here data has to be transmitted by using the medium which is the wireless one. So packets has to be transmitted from one location to the another location. So the address identification and the receiver address identification, destination identification, that all done by the network layer, and it has to be established the path to transmit the data from one location to the another location. So here in the network layer, the unit number 3, mainly we covered IP and mobile IP, internet protocol and mobile IP network layers. These are the syllabus what we covered in the unit number 3, IP and mobile IP network layers, and packet delivery and handover management. So how the packet is delivered and handover to the destination user, and the location management, how it traces the location, and registration, tunneling and encapsulation, and route optimization, and DHCP. So all these topics are related to the network layer. So these topics we covered in the unit number 3, IP and mobile IP network layers, packet delivery and handover management, location management, registration, tunneling and encapsulation, route optimization, and DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol, that stands for. So mainly here an IP is needed for data packet transmission in the network layer for mobile communication. So what is the need for mobile IP here? What is the need for mobile IP? So the IP address are designed to work with the stationary hosts, because the part of the address defines the network which the host is attached in generally. But a host cannot change its IP address without terminating ongoing sessions and restarting them after it acquires a new address. So other link layer mobility solutions exist, but are not sufficient enough for the global internet right now. So the IP addresses are designed, why the IP addresses are designed? Generally, IP addresses are designed to work with stationary hosts. So if a user is stationary is nothing but a user. If a user is there, the host, because the part of the address defines the network to which the host is attached. That means if you know the exact address, that means IP address, you can easily detect where the destination was and where it came from. Whenever the creating a packet, in generally, what is a packet consisting of? A packet consisting of source address as well as destination address along with the original data. So likewise here the IP address are mainly designed to work with stationary hosts. So because the part of the address defines the network. So here a host cannot change its IP address. A host cannot change its IP address without terminating ongoing sessions. If you have to be terminate the ongoing session, then only you can change an IP address. So again terminating or restarting. So if you have to terminate or restart, so you have to create the, again you have to use the IP address. So other link layer mobility solutions exist but are not sufficient enough for the global internet. So what is mobility? So in general, mobility means moving from one location to the another location. Here the main concept here is if the station is the fixed host, there is no problem for the network layer to identify the destination address. But here the major problem is, here the station is the movable one. Now that is mobile. So in one particular time that located in one location, so after some amount of time it moves from that particular location to another location. That is the main problem here in the mobile communication technology. So device is the movable one. It moves from one location to the another location. So to identify the address of the destination device is a bit difficult task for the network layer. So if it has to be identify the destination address, then only it has to be establishing the path to transmit the data packet. So but here the destination is moving, so it is a bit difficult task. So how it has to be identify the destination for that purpose? So the mobility, here the mobility is the ability of a node to change its point of attachment while maintaining all existing communication and using the same IP address. So that's why what we discussed there. Okay, if the device is moving but it using the same IP address, now it's a bit easy for the network layer to identify the destination address in the mobile communication technology. So the mobility is the ability of a node to change its point of attachment while maintaining all existing communications and using the same IP address. And the nomadicity allows a node to move, but it must terminate all existing communications and then can initiate new connection with a new address. So that is the difference between mobility and nomadicity. So mobility means by using same IP address, it can transmit, it can moving. But nomadicity allows a node to move, but it must terminate all existing communications and then can initiate new connection with a new address. That is the difference between mobility and nomadicity. So mobility means using the same IP address. Nomadicity means it terminate all existing communications and then can initiate new connections. Why we discussed it here. A host cannot change its IP address without terminating or ongoing sessions and restarting them. So whenever it has to be changing the IP address is whenever it terminating or restarting. In that situations only, it can assign, it can change its, a device can change its IP address. So in mobility, it uses the same IP address. In nomadicity, it changes the IP address. That is the mobility and nomadicity. And here in the mobile IP, it is a network layer solution for homogeneous and heterogeneous mobility on the global internet, which is scalable, robust, and secure, and which allows nodes to maintain all ongoing communication while moving. So the earlier part of this video we discussed here, the major role of network layer is to identify the destination path, that means the mobile station, to identify the mobile station. Here the mobile station moving from one location to the another. There is a possibility of mobile station is not constant. It's moving from one location to the another location because it is the handheld device. So the mobile IP is a network layer solution. So why the mobile IP is a network layer solution? Whenever you have to be assign an IP address to that particular device, it's a bit easy task for the network layer to identify that IP address. So the solution for the homogeneous and heterogeneous mobility on the global internet. So it has to be moving from one location to the another location, or from one place to the another place. So how the network layer identifies the mobile station is, so if we have to be assign a mobile IP, then it's a bit easy task for the network layer to identify the mobile station. So the global internet, which is scalable, robust, and secure, and which allows nodes to maintain all ongoing communications while unmoving. So what is the design goals of mobile IP? So I think you understand why the need of mobile IP. So because in fixed hosts, to identify the destination address is a bit easy for the network layer. But coming to the mobile hosts, that means movable devices, it's a bit difficult task for the network layer to identify the mobile station address. For that purpose, it assigns a particular IP address to the every device. This IP address uses until it is in communication mode. It changes whenever it terminating or in the restarting situations only, it changes the IP address. So these mobility and the nomadicities, it is the ability of node to change its point of attachment while maintaining all existing communications. But coming to the nomadicity, it allows a node to move, but it must terminate all existing communications. With the mobility means it is moving by using same IP address, but nomadicity means it allows whenever it terminate it leaves that IP address. So that is the need for mobile IP. So what are the design goals of mobile IP? So a mobile IP was developed as a mean for transparency dealing with the problems of mobile users. So in generally, what are the problems of mobile users? Call drop problem, call connection problem, disturbance, noisy disturbances, frequency bandwidth problem. These are some major problems are faced by the mobile users. So when a mobile IP was developed as a means for transparently dealing with the problems of mobile users, so the mobile IP was designed to make the size and the frequency of required routing updates as small as possible. So it was designed to make it simple to implement mobile node software, and it was designed to avoid solutions that require mobile nodes to use multiple addresses. So These are the design goals of mobile IP. So developed as a means for transparently dealing with problems of mobile users, and it was designed to make the size of the frequency of required routing updates as small as possible, and it was designed to make it simple to implement a mobile node software, and it was designed to avoid solutions that require mobile nodes to use multiple addresses. So what are the requirements of designing of mobile IP? These are the design goals. And what are the requirements? There are several requirements for mobile IP to make it as a standard. The first one is compatibility. It is the main requirement. The whole architecture of internet is very huge, and a new standard, it cannot introduce changes to the applications or network protocols already in use. Cannot introduce changes to the applications or network protocols are already in use, and the mobile IP is to be integrated into the existing operating systems. It is integrated into the existing operating systems, and also for routers also it may be possible to enhance its capabilities to support mobility instead of changing the routers, which is highly impossible. So the mobile IP must not require special media or MAC or LLC like data link layer MAC or LLC protocols. So it must use the same interfaces and mechanisms to access the lower layers as IP does. So the finally end systems enhanced with a mobile IP implementation should still be able to communicate with fixed systems without mobile IP. So there is the compatibility. And next one is the transparency. So the another requirement for mobile IP is transparency. So mobility remains invisible for many higher layer protocols and applications. Where it moves, and on what time it moves, and how far it moves, that is invisible for many higher layer protocols and applications. Higher layer continues to work even if the mobile computer has changed its point of attachment to the network, and even notice a lower bandwidth and some interruption in the service. As many of today's applications have not been designed to use in mobile environments, the effects of mobility will be higher delay and lower bandwidth. That is the transparency. And next one is the scalability and efficiency. The efficiency of the network should not be affected even if a new mechanism is introduced into the internet. So the efficiency of the network should not be affected. There is a possibility of many mechanisms are introduced into the internet. It cannot affect the networks. So it enhancing IP for mobility must not generate many new messages flooding the whole network. So the special care is necessary to be taken considering the lower bandwidth of wireless rings. So the scalability and efficiency is needed for the mobile IP. So many mobile systems have a wireless link to an attachment point. Therefore, only some additional packets must be necessary between a mobile system and a node in the network. It is indispensable for a mobile IP to be scalable over a large number of participants in the whole internet throughout the world. This is the main one. Security is the main requirement for mobile IP. Whenever we have to create a mobile IP, the security is the most important one. So mobility poses many security problems. So those are a minimum requirement is the authentication of all messages related to the management of mobile IP, or it must be sure for the IP layer. If it forwards a packet to a mobile host, that this host really is the receiver of the packet, or the IP layer can only guarantee that the IP address of the receiver is correct, or there is no way to prevent faked IP addresses and other attacks. So is the genuine IP address or not? That is the major key point here. Whenever we have to, the network layer has to be creating IP address to the mobile host. After receiving the IP address, is it genuine or not? That is the major role, major part of IP address creation. So the security is the one of the best requirement of major requirement of mobile IP. So the goal of mobile IP can be summarized as supporting end system mobility while maintaining scalability, efficiency, and compatibility in all respects with the existing applications and internet protocols. So, what is the need for mobile IP and design goals of mobile IP and requirements: compatibility, transparency, scalability and efficiency, security. So, is finally summarized as supporting the goal of mobile IP can be summarized as supporting end system mobility while maintaining scalability, efficiency, and compatibility in all respect with existing applications and internet protocols. So these are the some terminal words which needed in this unit. So, there we are discussed in the next slides. That is IP packet delivery. How the data packet is transmitted from one mobile host to the another mobile host. So before going to discuss the data packet transmission from one location to the another location, we have to know some terminal words in this unit. Those are these are the following: define several entities and terms needed to understand the mobile IP. So how the mobile IP works and transmits the data packets from one location to the another location. Before we're going to start that, first we have to know about some terminal words. That is, first one is the mobile node. A mobile node is an end system or router that can change its point of attachment to the internet using mobile IP. So a mobile node is an end system or router that can change its point of attachment to the internet using mobile IP. That means destination. MN means destination. So the mobile node keep its IP address and can continuously communicate with any other system in the internet as long as link layer connectivity is given. So some examples are laptops, mobile phones, and routers or aircrafts. All these are belongs to the mobile nodes. That is end systems. Mobile node means end system. Please notify this. And another correspondent node. At least one partner is needed for communication. In the following, the corresponding nodes represents the this partner for the mobile node. The corresponding node can be fixed or mobile node. Correspondent node is the which start transmitting the data, which sends the data. That means user. If you are discussing about sender and receiver, correspondent nodes means sender. Okay. Here the correspondent node may be either fixed or wireless, but the mobile node may be wireless, that is the movable one. But here the correspondent node may be either fixed or movable. It can be either fixed or mobile node. So please notify, mobile node is the end system and the correspondent node is the initial data transmission node. And next one is the home network. The home network is the subnet of the mobile node belongs to with respect to its IP address. So no mobile IP support is needed within the home network. So no mobile IP support is needed within the home network. So all the devices are hosts are within the home A, within the HN, within the home network. There is no need of IP support. That is a home network is the subnet of mobile node. But coming to the foreign network, the foreign network is the current subnet the mobile node visits and which is not the home network. So that means correspondent node wants to send data to the mobile node. If mobile node in the home network, no need of IP address. If the mobile node is there in the another network, that network is called it as foreign network, then the foreign agent The foreign agent FA can provide several services to the mobile node during its visit to the foreign network. The foreign agent can have the COA acting as a tunnel endpoint and forwarding packets to the MN. So the FA can be default router for the mobile node. So FAs can also provide security services because they belongs to the foreign network as opposed to the mobile network. This is only visiting. So foreign agent is implemented on a router for the subnet of the mobile node attaches to foreign agent. Whenever mobile node visiting the foreign network, the foreign agent is needed. Next, care of address. Generally, we are using in general terminology. What is our care of address? That means there's two addresses are there for every person. One is permanent address. Second one is care of address. Permanent address means where we born and where our fathers and forefathers are living. That is our permanent address. Coming to the care of address, for job purpose or education purpose, we live in some other location. That address is called it as care of address. Likewise, here also in the mobile node and mobile communication data packet transmission, a care of address is needed. That is COA. The COA defines the current location of the mobile node from an IP point of view. For example, the mobile is moving from one location to the another location. For example, sender is the fixed host. So sender there in KHIT, and the sender wants to transmit data packets to the receiver. So here the sender is CN, correspondent node. He wants to transmit a data packet to the mobile node MN. If MN is also there in the same network, home network, there is no problem. But here the MN is the movable one. So the receiver moving from one location to the another location, at the time of packet delivery, he is there in Guntur. So he is traveling towards Kakinada. Now the current location is Vijayawada. So the Vijayawada is the care of address for that particular mobile node with that particular amount of time on that particular time. If he reaches Rajahmundry, so Rajahmundry is the care of address. If he reaches Kakinada, Kakinada is the care of address for that particular mobile node. Why? Because here the mobile node is the movable from one location to the another location. Here the correspondent node may be either fixed or movable, whatever it may be. So the care of address defines the current location of mobile node from one IP point of view. So all IP packets sent to the MN are delivered to the COA, not directly to the IP address of the MN. So the packet delivery towards the MN is done using a tunnel. So the care of address marks the tunnel endpoint, that is the address where packets exit the tunnel. There are two different possibles of care of addresses: foreign agent care of address, co-located care of address. The care of address could be located at the foreign agent. The care of address is an IP address of the foreign agent. The FA is the tunnel endpoint and forwards packet to the MN mobile node. The many mobile nodes using the foreign agent can share this care of address as a common care of address. So the foreign agents using these care of addresses, and co-located care of address. Here in the co-located care of address, the care of address is co-located if the mobile node temporarily acquired an additional IP address which acts as care of address. This address is now topologically correct and the tunnel endpoint is at the mobile node. So the co-located address can be acquired using the services such as dynamic host configuration protocol. These are the two categories in the care of addresses: foreign agent care of address and co-located care of address. Finally, home agent. So the home agent provides several services for the mobile node and it's located in the home network. So the tunnel for the packets towards the mobile node starts at the home agent. So the home agent maintains a location registry, that is, it is informed of the mobile node's location by the current care of address. So there are three alternatives for the implementation of the of an home agent exist. So the three alternatives are: the first one is home agent can be implemented on a router that is responsible for the home network. This is absolutely at the best position, because without optimization to mobile IP, all packets from the mobile node have to go through the router anyway. And the second possibility is if changing the router software is not possible, the home agent could also be implemented on an arbitrary node in the subnet. Or here one disadvantage is there in the second criteria, that is in the solution is the double crossing of the router by the packet if the mobile node is in a foreign network. So if it is in home network, there is no problem. But here the mobile node is in foreign network, there is a problem of double crossing is happened. That is the second part. So a packet for a mobile node comes in via the router. So the home agent sends it through the tunnel, which again cross the router. So coming to the third one, finally, a home network is not necessary at all. The home agent could be again on the router, but this time only acting as a manager for mobile nodes, and it belongs to the virtual home network. All mobile nodes, yeah, sorry for the technical error.